And I'm about to add Villin up in here real quick. Villin, go ahead. Yep. Got a couple people up. Kino, you wild, bro. Yeah, go ahead. Villin, go ahead. Back out and then send me another request. Oh no, there we go. Yo, how you doing, man?
Good, brother. How are you?
Shit, still breathing, still breathing. So.
Good. I'm in the only corner of my house right now that isn't occupied by stuff on the floor. So it looks pretty bare behind me, but that's what's going on.
I feel you. I had to find like a cool corner. You know what I mean? I had to find like a cool background.
Yeah.
Got to make it look good at least. But as everybody knows, we here to talk about a little bit of label drama. uh, but so Villin over here uh, has a podcast that he does for a lot of artists out over here in Iowa. He be not even just podcasts, but really playlists. Also, a lot of y'all probably already know just from following him. But he puts out a lot of podcasts. Kind of really puts a voice out to for a lot of artists out over here. And we had planned a podcast that was going to come out not on the day of my mixtape release, but it was supposed to come out around that time. And my mixtape was slated to come out on the 20th. If you go, even on my Instagram, you can go and see other pictures that I posted where I was saying that the release date was the 20th. But I was working with a label called High Life Entertainment for a long time. So a lot of people will know that probably from me saying HLE, just the abbreviation of it. But I also had that like in my bio, and I was I was working with my manager, and we had put HLE together a while ago. It was about 3 years ago, 4 years ago now, actually, 2023. But we've been working for a long time, putting out music, and never really had like any problems going on. But when we approached this mixtape and this mixtape dropping, when it comes to all of my music and all of my promotion, I'm really the head of it. Even though I did have a manager, my manager wasn't really hands on with creating any artwork for it, with knowing if the project is close to being done, knowing really anything about the project. I would just kind of put things together and then bring them to him as like the finished product. But with this mixtape, I had slated it to release on the 20th, sent it through on United Masters, and I showed him the cover art that everybody else could see. The cover art that's also my profile picture right now, and I have my own little reasoning that kind of ties into the mixtape of why my cover art looks the way that it does. But for reasons of it, I guess not really looking clean enough, he didn't want that to be the cover art, which was pretty much my whole intention was it to not look clean. But we had a conversation about it, and we talked on the phone about it. We kind of came to a consensus like that we were going to just leave it to go through because it was already slated to go through, and taking it down would cause complications with all the DSPs. They would some of them might take it down, some of them might not. With music going to like Instagram and TikTok, then it's kind of hard for them to be staying on top of whether or not releases are still coming out. So we decided to just leave it through, let it go through, and then the next day I woke up to a bunch of texts from him saying that he wasn't happy with like the decision that we had made yesterday, and that he still didn't like the cover art and he wanted to change it up. And seeing as how we made that decision together yesterday, talking about it, and then he just kind of came the next day, changed his mind on it. I was just like, that's a you problem. I was like, I'm not really going to contribute anything to changing that. We talked about it, and then I thought everything was cool, and then just kind of woke up to random ass text messages. So this was January 6th when that happened, and on January 6th he had taken down the release. He went to my United Masters account, and he took down the release. So I went to United Masters and I put the release back up. And after a couple of days, it got approved again. And I thought everything was okay. Everything was still going to come out, slated to come out on the 20th like it was supposed to. And I was actually in contact with Spotify for Artists. I was already emailing somebody over there about something. So I thought to ask them if my release was still looking good, because I was not able to see it on my Spotify for Artists account. And they told me that they got a scheduled takedown, so that they were not going to release it. And even though I had uploaded it that same day that he had taken it down, just the fact that they had gotten that request and then seen a duplicate go up, it made them not want to put it out. So for all of the DSPs, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, everything, Amazon Music, you can't find the mixtape anywhere. So I went to my manager with this information. I told him that that it would not be dropping on the 20th because we did not have that because of the complications that happened. And this was on the 19th when I found out this information. So I had to go and resubmit it. And he pretty much told me, not even really pretty much, he had told me that I can only be mad at myself for the mixtape not dropping. So I said, you can only be mad at yourself for losing your only artist. I've been working with him for 3 years now, and honestly, I've been the person who's been promoting my stuff. I'm making TikToks, YouTube shorts, Instagram reels, Facebook reels, everything, and alongside that, I'm also the person who's putting in all of the work. I go and I get myself shows. I've connected myself with promoters out over here. I network with all different types of artists. So, to me, it didn't even really seem like anything of a loss to walk away from that, honestly. It seemed, I was just kind of getting my control back. That's really all it was about for me. I wanted my music to come out when I promised people it would come out, even as a local rapper. Like, I'm not trying to deal with, giving people fake release dates.
Imma, what was your expectation in working with this individual? Like, just hearing this from you, I'm kind of interested in hearing, what the nature of that management relationship was. Like, why even work with anybody? Because you're such a hustler.
So when I had found him, I was like 17 years old, and that was before I had even had music out on Apple Music, anything like that. That was before I had even performed at any shows. And I will say that definitely working with him, it helped me out to get to where I am today. Like, I definitely would not be where I am right now if I wasn't working with him. But in all actuality, working with him was just him spending money. It wasn't really, you know what I'm saying, him bringing any opportunities or nothing like that. And as a young kid, 17, I'm kind of just looking at this as a crazy opportunity. I mean, there's not many people who could say that they have a manager, that they're working together to, work on a label, even had our LLC and everything, so it was just, it seemed like what I really wanted, you know what I mean? It seemed like what I was trying to get to, but I feel like through now, I've just kind of noticed that through all of that work that I've been doing, that I've, gotten to here, I don't really need somebody's checkbook. I don't need somebody coming out to spend money, because it's, at the end of the day, that's not the thing that is getting people to listen to my music.
Was that money for like the recording costs, production costs?
Yeah, recording costs, like videos, stuff like that. But I mean, when it came to like marketing and promotion, I was always putting my own money into marketing and promotion. I've spent over $1,000 of my own money just on radio play, just for instance, and then, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, like.
Where was the blowback you'd mentioned the album art being a point of contention. What was that all
I'm,
about?
about what being a
The album art, cover art.
yeah. So it's funny because it really just came down to the lines that I drawn onto on the words.
Yeah,
Instead of having it look like somebody had drawn onto it, he wanted it to just be a line that was through it, which isn't even a big change, isn't really anything that significant.
it's like a
So
aesthetic thing.
yeah,
Okay,
so I was never really, I never thought that it would get to a point of him taking down the release over a line instead of a squiggle. You know what I mean? So when
sure.
it did kind of turn into that, I was just like, it's kind of weird, especially
Yeah,
him saying like, I can only be mad at myself for it. It's like, okay.
it's a strange twist. It sounds like you guys were kind of friends, and then didn't really have that kind of, I don't know. Doesn't seem like that's still the vibe, right?
Yeah, not really. I
That
mean, it was just, yeah, like I feel like we definitely helped each other grow in this business relationship that we had, but you know, I just kind of had to cut it at a certain point, and it just that's not really the type of business that I want to do. I
yeah.
don't want the person who represents me to be making deals with people and then changing his mind about it the next day, because that makes me look horrible. And then even when we're just dealing with each other, that's not really something that's ideal to deal with in business. So, I really just had to look at it from a point of view where I was kind of putting our friendship to the side, but he wasn't able to really look at it that way. So,
Well, it sounds like you're taking away, I don't know, maybe a lesson is probably a strong word from it, but
mhm.
some valuable insight into what you want to do moving forward, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about it really. I was actually talking to my friend Drac of Black Shoe,
Yeah.
and I was telling him because I was looking around. I was talking to some other managers. There are managers that I met out over here in the city who've been interested in working with me. So I've talked to a couple different people, but you know, I'm I feel like I feel like I don't really need one anymore. I feel like I never really like needed a manager, but it was just more of like something that made me feel like official at the time. And it's like even with that title or without that title, you know what I'm saying, on somebody, like I've been doing enough work, you know what I'm saying, on my own to where I feel like I'm confident enough to be able to push myself forward where I need to go.
And that's really valuable insight as well, because when we talked several months ago for the podcast that you mentioned off the top, I recall how you were so grateful and expressed that level of just happiness that your music was on streaming, just like a bare bones, that's it. It's like
Yeah.
that's really nice just to hear, because there's an understanding of like, okay, I didn't get here overnight, and the people that have helped me to this point have been really key and influential.
Hmm.
But what worked yesterday doesn't work today necessarily in terms of getting
Exactly.
you to where you want to be tomorrow.
Hmm.
So, and it's hard, man. Like, um, I've worked a little bit with artists and stuff like that down when I was in Nashville. It's hard because it's such a racket sometimes, and you get caught up in that aspect of it, of what you should be doing, you know,
Yeah.
because you see all these other people and you want to replicate their level of success, thinking that this is what they did to get there. Doesn't always work out that way, though.
Exactly. The
So,
formulas aren't always the same for everybody. Some people
yeah.
can blow up doing some things, but there's never going to be anybody who blows up like Lil Pump did again.
And there's not going to be anyone that takes the path that you're on, right?
Mhm.
You know, your own individual path, is cliched as it might sound, that's your path.
For sure.
So however you find your way there, and whatever resources you need to get yourself there, that's going to be different than everyone else,
Hmm.
at least to some degree.
true.
Um,
Definitely.
had in terms of the music itself, did any of that change along the way? We started out with 4 songs, right?
Hmm. So we just I kept everything the same
Okay.
for the mixtape. Yeah, I just because I like somebody did recommend that like maybe I make a song like about the label situation and put it onto the mixtape. But I mean, I'm not really like that type of person. I'm not really like that type of artist. I don't make songs like to bash people or like to bash situations. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
So I
doesn't
was
seem like
like,
it would fit with the vibe of it too, you know?
yeah, yeah, the vibe's not that for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, so this is coming out then on the 31st.
Yes, sir. I'll have it be coming out on the 31st, and I'll be doing a little bit of some more promo, including this before it drops.
Nice. And I'm curious to just get your reaction when you hear what comes up in the podcast because it was so long ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like several months. You've had a lot of time to sit with this music and then interact with it in different ways. You know what I
yeah,
mean? You were talking about it being uploaded, then being pulled, and how,
mhm.
I mean, all of that is going to add to, I don't know, just your interaction with it. It's going to change how you feel about your own music. It's got to, right?
Yeah, definitely. I actually was just thinking about that yesterday too. I was like, I wonder if what I feel like my meaning of the tape is still the same, because when we did do that interview, it was a little bit a little soon after like I had put everything together, and like now, like you said, I've had a little bit more time to sit with it, a little bit more time to digest it, and I'm like, I wonder if like my meaning has changed a little bit.
Yeah. Have you listened to the music much the last week, 2 weeks?
Yeah, yeah. It's like I try not to listen to my music too much because I feel like it's doing too much, especially not like on streaming services. Like I try to never stream my music because I don't want to be like throwing any
That's
random
one way to
numbers
run
in
those
there.
numbers up.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't want to be that one daily listener.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I have been listening to it a lot just because it's so short. Also, I've been listening to it in its entirety instead of just listening to like songs that I like the most or anything. But it's I really love it. Like it's every single time that I listen to it, I feel like I get goosebumps from it. You know what I mean?
Good.
And it's like obviously it's my music, so I'm gonna feel like a certain type of way about it. But it's just like I don't know. I really love the vibe that I'm coming with in this one, and I feel like it's super different than anything else that I've really consistently done. So I'm really excited for people to hear it.
Yeah, that's going to be I hope a good feeling once it lands, in the public space, so you can kind of set it free a little bit. Not
Yes,
that it'll be
sir.
captive, but
Yeah, for sure.
what comes next?
Well, next, I think we're gonna focus on performing a little bit more down over here in the city, and a little bit more content also. I've been wanting to kind of dabble into like vlogging a little bit, maybe for like a show, or if I go to the studio to go record something, you know what I mean? Just have somebody record that, and kind of throw it together, edit it up a little bit, just kind of show people the other side really being an artist, because they only see like what we want them to see. They only see what like we think is cool enough for them to see. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
think it'd be nice for people to like kind of be able to get a look into just like the sound check. You know what I mean? Or just going and like eating out with friends like before we go to the show or anything like that.
What's happening? I don't know that I saw anything pop up about this, but you were trying to put together like that showcase. I don't remember what the venue was. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So I was going to put something together at
Yeah.
Sweet 203 is inside of a building that's called wait, the name is like escaping me right now, but it's downtown. It's pretty much like right in the heart of downtown. It's in the same building as Shags and a couple a couple other bars. But that 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 building actually got shut down. They actually got their license taken away, their liquor license. So they're moving to another venue. And so I'm still in contact with the manager and like the owner of Suite 203, but I'm kind of just giving them a little bit of time to figure out, you know, where they're moving, and then I think we're gonna move forward with that. But in place of that, we actually have a free show that we're going to be throwing, a Black Shoe show that will be at another venue that's down over here to.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Well, who from Black Shoe is on right now? Shout out to all those guys, right?
Yeah. We got Drac. We got Chino Vivid. Chino Vivid is he's not in Des Moines. He's out of Iowa, based out of Iowa. We got a couple other people. We had Chunk, Black Shoe Chunk in here. We got a nice little group of people. He's a yurt. Everybody tapping in. There you go. Funny as hell.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, but I'm super excited for. I think we had Ex Machina here also, but I'm super excited for our Black Shoe show that we're going to be putting together. It's a free show, so we definitely want to kind of tap in a little bit more with the community. You know, get a lot of people out there to experience live music if they haven't before. You know, or just experience local music. You know, for the first time if they haven't.
Good. Well, that sounds like a good plan, man. As soon as this ends up online, you know, we'll put out our conversation. Hopefully that adds some more context for the hard work that you put into all this.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. I'm excited to hear it too. I'm very excited to hear it. That Annie Campbell one was really, really nice. Y'all got to go watch that one. Got to go listen to that one. That one was really good.
That's on her. She's a really interesting person and just a great talent. So love her voice. Very talented.
Yeah. Crazy voice. Everybody who I've showed it to has just been like completely blown away.
Well, pull her up for some more collabs. I don't know if you've listened to any of that stuff she did with Be Well, but yeah, good stuff, man. So
I'm gonna look into it. I actually just heard Be Well's name yesterday. Somebody just asked me like, "Do you know who Be Well is?" And I'm like, "I've heard of him a million times, but like I've never met him yet."
You know, this is an interesting kind of topic in and of itself because you and I spoke so much about all the different side sort of hustles that are parallel to music. Mm-hmm. You know, you're talking like people do streaming and they make more money from streaming than they do their actual music. Man, he does clothes. You know, he put out like I don't remember what it was or when it was, maybe October, November. Mm-hmm. Did a release show for his album, but it was also around that same time there was a drop of like a new line of clothing that he was putting together. Wow. If you go to his Instagram, he's got this just gorgeous, very short clip advertisement for that line. So I have a lot of respect for him and what he's doing right now, just because like he seems to take so much care and planning with each aspect of it so that it comes out just right.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what you're talking about in terms of aligning yourself with where you want to go with your stuff. Like if you have an idea for that art that goes on top of the music, it doesn't feel quite right to have someone else's thumbprint on that. So make sure that you're listening to yourself with that. Because if you don't, this is going to come out and it's going to feel a little bit off. You know?
Yeah, and that's exactly where I was coming from it. Because I mean, I'm not like super particular on my cover arts ever, you know what I mean? But like with this project where I actually had a cohesive meaning behind it, you know what I mean? Like, and I felt like it actually meant a little bit more than just like my last mixtape. I had dropped that one when I was very early in dropping music on Apple Music and Spotify, and I had dropped that one pretty much just to get a catalog of my music out there, just to get songs out there for people to listen to. So instead of just having 2 or 3 on my Spotify, so like this one feels a little bit more intimate because I didn't have to make this, you know what I mean? I could have just kept on going with singles. So it's like all the decisions that I made, even the tiniest decisions that I made with this, you know, they're all like for a reason, you know what I mean? And I didn't want to water that down exactly like how you said it would have just felt different. Something would have felt off.
And the more you go with your music, like I think you're going to lean further and further into that feeling and kind of trusting your intuition with it. Because from a level of success, if it doesn't feel right to you, how good is it going to feel overall, you know, down the road, or how successful can it possibly be? It's got to be good for you.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it's always essential as an artist. You know, there are a lot of artists in here also, and I'm sure that they can all attest to this. But, you know, it's always essential as an artist to make sure that what you're making, what you like. You know, you're supposed to make what you like. Don't make it for any industry sound that's going on right now, or, you know what I mean, trying to chase somebody else's buzz. You know what I mean? Like everything, when you make music for you, that's when it sounds the best, you know?
Absolutely. If you can't, I know you just talked about not wanting to really listen to your own music, but if you can't be a fan of your own music,
exactly.
What does that say?
Exactly.
So.
Man. Well, man, it's always a good conversation. I swear,
I'm glad we got to connect.
Yeah, for sure. Even in our first interview, like talking for like 2 hours.
It was a while.
Yeah, for real. But so I'm excited to listen to it too, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing this all come together, get out there so other people can listen to it as well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, then just see how you're reflecting on it once it's open, and you can kind of move on to whatever comes next.
Yes, sir. Thanks for supporting, man. Always.
For real. I got you, man.
Yep. Well, shit. That's all the tea, y'all. We done. There ain't no more rumors that need to go around. But thank you again for tapping in. I appreciate you.
Yeah, for real.
Be well. Thank you, everybody, for staying. Appreciate it. I'm out.